Hello, we are here for round 9 of AMRL, the Belgian Grand Prix, and we have 2 championships that can be wrapped up today. Paradrive currently leads the Driver Championship by 50 points, and S25M lead by 57 points. So we could see both championships done here today in Belgium. Also got a few special liveries. This is the first one, Minardi, repping the Belgium colours of red and yellow today. And we have Etruria as well with their special livery, also wrapping the red and yellow with a bit of white in theirs. So here we are, first lap of qualifying, one of the longest tracks in mobile racing leagues, around 38.6 maybe for pole. We'll have to wait and see. There we go, Zed Green with a 38.6 to back up my statement there. And he goes on provisional pole is Ludwig P2 with a 38.7, and Kozil takes a 38.9 for P3 at the moment. Go on board with Tyne, who did get pole position a few races ago in Kota. Currently on a 39.12 in P7. He comes through the chicane, and then these two right-handers before heading down this curved straight and into the bus stop chicane, slightly onto the grass. What time is he going to set? He does improve up to a 0.88 and up to P4 as Strudel launches himself up to P3 with a 0.75. So Strudel, one of the best qualifiers out there. Currently P3 for him. Let's go on board with Phoenix then. Dropped down to third in the championship after his P7 in Valencia, and does not look like he's going to improve with that mistake. So we'll go on board with the man looking to win the championship today, and that is Paradrive, currently sat in P7 with a 39 flat. Let's see if he can get into the 38s. He is going to with a 0.9. He goes up to P5. Oscar Fan goes up to P4 though. I think that was Kozil up to P5 as well in the end, very close. But it is Zed Green on pole, 38.65, and it's going to be Ludwig alongside him. Obviously 2 more points for S25M there, so that's good for them to try and wrap up the constructors today. Ludwig second, Strudel third, Oscar Fan fourth, and it's Kozil fifth, Tyne P6, got Paradrive down in P7, Phoenix P8, Aloxian 9th, and Pigeon P10. We have Albono in P11 the exact same time as his teammate. Then we have Dorgamer P12, Blazros P13 after a lovely EMRL performance from him. We have a Sabercat P14, Lozzie takes 15th, and Fast Paced in P16 for today. So here we go, the penultimate round of AMRL Season 6. And we have Zed Green to lead us underway. And here we go, Zed Green on the softs, Ludwig opts for the mediums, along with Strudel and Oscar Fan also on the mediums. It's a great start from Zed Green. He's already managed to make a bit of a gap. Can he hold the lead? Looks like he will be able to. Got Strudel trying to make a move for P2. He's going to have to go around the outside, tries to go for a bit of a switchback, but Ludwig able to defend, and Zed Green gets a terrible exit, and he's on the grass. And he's now down to P4. Paradrive trying to make the move on his teammate, and he is going to get through in the end. So Zed Green down to P5, and it's been a great start for the majority of our medium runners. Got 5 of our medium runners in the top 6. As there is a lot of barging going on here, and Zed Green's lost even more places. Phoenix has lost a few places, and we have some rain on the way. So that could shake it up. It's only light rain though, so it could be some fake rain, which is fairly common on 10%. So I have to wait and see. I suspect some of them might stay out. We have Oscar Fan still leading, Strudel and now Tyne as well up there. So Icross having a good race at the moment. Paradrive P4 ahead of his championship rival in P5. Is anyone going to pit? Tyne does pit. So does Pigeon, Albono, and Sabercat almost gets pushed into the pit lane there. Is it going to be fake rain? Yes, it is. So everyone who pitted might be in trouble. Tyne, Pigeon, Albono, Dorgamer, Lozzie, and Fast Pace might have just compromised their races there. We got a bit of lag going on, I think. A bit of a lag rocket. And Blazros unfortunately ends up in the wall. So that's unfortunate for him. We have Strudel and Paradrive battling for the lead. Paradrive unfortunately hits the grass there, but Strudel hits some sand of his own. And he's now down to P4 if Ludwig can make this move. And Strudel lets him have it for now. So Ludwig up to P3, and that's Zed Green up to P4 as Strudel with another little mistake there. And now Zed Green making his way back through the field after that not so great start. He's trying to make a move on Ludwig, and Ludwig isn't fighting that one at all. He even breaks, I think, there down the straight. And Zed Green trying to make a move on Oscar Fan, trying to make it a 1-2 for S25M. Not going to make the move now though. So we got a lot of the Inter runners have come in. Dog Gamer and Albono still out on the Inters, hoping for a little bit more rain. That's Kozil with a bit of lag there. Now we're going to go 3 wide here. Phoenix does back out of it a bit. And now we've got Blazvaz making a move on Aloxian up the inside. And he's through. But Phoenix gets a lovely exit in turn 1. Is able to make the double overtake. But Aloxian, our AMRL race winner from today, is trying to make some moves. And unfortunately gets pushed onto the grass a bit there. We see Blazvaz making a lovely dive bomb up to P7. Towards the front, Zed Green has managed to get up into P2, and now he's going to take the lead. Paradrive gives him the lead, and he'll have a few more laps where his tyres will be superior, and then the mediums will probably slowly become the better tyre, as Zed Green sets his personal best of the race with a 38.97. The S25Ms have managed to pull away, which is great for them in the Constructors, and also great for Paradrive in the Drivers' Championship today. Got Aloxian trying to make some progress after getting pushed off earlier on. He is ahead of Phoenix at the moment, but Phoenix looking to the outside. And he is able to get through. Blazvaz, unfortunately, almost made a triple overtake there, but it wasn't meant to be. He was into the sand. He's lost a lot of places. So it looks like it's really a battle for the top 10. And then comes our Inters, stoppers. P11 downwards. Now Bono still on the Inters, hoping for a bit of rain. And towards the front, Paradrive's lost a lot of time. He was obviously up with his teammate, and now he's a bit further down the field, battling for P2 with Oscar Fan and Strudel. Oscar Fan currently holds it, but Strudel looking for the move. He's going to have a look to the inside, and he will get the inside into the chicane. Can he make the move? Oscar Fan puts Strudel into the wall slightly there, and that allows Paradrive to make the double overtake. Goes a bit wide at turn 1, but is able to hold the P2 for now. Is Oscar Fan going to try and come back at him? No, he's not. Looks like he is happy to sit in P3 for now. And further back, we still have these 3 battling: Aloxian, Blazraz and Phoenix. As Phoenix slightly onto the grass, he's still okay though, as we have more rain coming. Unfortunately, Albono has just pitted for dries, so that's the strategy is not loving him today, as we see Aloxian quite far onto the grass and loses a lot of time. But obviously that one was heavy rain, so everyone is in as heavy rain, less likely to be fake, and even if it is fake, the track is wet enough. But look at the gap. Zed Green has out front. Lovely stuff. He does already have a win this season. That was in Zandvoort. He'll be looking to try and make it a win here today in Belgium. It's currently Strudel and P2 on the Inters, and then Paradrive, Oscar Fan both onto the wets, and then Ludwig has also gone for the intermediates. So it looks like the top 5 have managed to pull away, and there's Phoenix in P6. So it looks like these top 5 will be finishing in the top 5, and I think that is all Paradrive needs to win the championship. Because I think Ludwig needs to outscore him by, I think, about 23 points or something along the lines of that. So this will comfortably be enough. At the moment from Paradrive, Ludwig would need to win, and Paradrive outside the top 10, I think. So anyway, Oscar Fan, looks like the wet tyres are currently better. However, as you can see there, the track is drying up, so the Inters should start to come into it a bit more. It does look like the wets are better, judging by the fact that Peradrive has pulled away and Oscar Fan currently sits P3. So now the sun is coming out. And Loxian has fallen off the back of it, of the rest of them. And Pigeon and Lozzie, you know what, they're doing a good job. Only 3 seconds off the back of the top 10 now, comparing they had to make, I was going to say make an extra stop, but Tyne's also done 3 stops. So Tyne's actually done a good job to do 3 stops and still be battling for P9. So great stuff from him. Now it looks like the S25M drivers have pulled away very nicely as we see the track is close to drying up. I suspect 1 more lap and then we should see some drivers in for softs unless the weather starts raining again. The weather is changing though, 2 clouds, so could we see more rain? We'll have to wait and see. As we see Bladras and Loxian into the pit lane, there we go for the dry tyres along with Sabercat and Tyne. Pigeon stays out, hoping for some more rain. Could help his race a bit more. And Cozil, I think that was, stayed out. Yep, Cozil also staying out. So the Inters should definitely be the best tyre at the moment in this dry period. I suspect they'll all come in, especially as we see the sun is coming out. So there is no reason to stay on these tyres for any longer. And they are all in. Zed Green for mediums, Peradrive on the soft tyres. We have Ludwig Strudel on the mediums, and Oscar Fan has gone for softs. They're going to be side by side on the pit exit. And Ludwig gives that position up. Oscar Fan, probably the smart move. Oscar Fan on the soft tyres, hopefully can try and drag Ludwig along a bit, and Strudel as well, if he can follow. We got Bladras and Phoenix still battling. They've been together the whole race, and they'll probably be together for most of the race now, judging by the fact they were on the same tyres. To wait and see how this battle pans out. Currently battle for P6. Then we got Loxian kind of on his own. Tyne has managed to make the move on Sabercat. And he's on the soft tyres. Hopefully he can drag him along. We've got Lozzie in 11th. Pigeon, who stayed out that extra lap, has fallen down to 12th. And then our Bono 13th, still on the Inters. Cozil, P14. And his Dog Gamer 15th. And Fast Pace currently P16. Anyway, we have Oscar Fan on the soft tyre, has managed to pull away. So it looks like a good shot at a podium now for Oscar Fan. Be great for him. Obviously got P2 in Valencia last time out, but I'm sure he'll have another podium to add to his collection. Go on board with these two for P6. Got Bladras into the wall. That allows Phoenix to make the move. He sets his personal best lap of the race as well. Has he pulled out of slipstream? This could be his chance to maybe try and pull away and take the P6. Needs to have a good rest of the lap to try and do that, as Bladras makes a mistake, and that is good for Phoenix. He can now try and pull away a bit more. To go a bit further back though, Tyne has managed to close up quite a bit on Loxian. Obviously he has the fastest lap of the race, so showing some good pace. And yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that battle for P8 as Tyne goes straight over. And Loxian lagging a little bit there as well, so that helps Tyne catch up a bit. Is he going to go for a move? He's going to look to the outside, but he is ahead already, and he can take the normal UR2D racing line for the chicane. To go towards the front though, Peradrive has managed to close up on his teammate. He has a 4-second gap to Oscar Fan, so it looks like they're going to 1-2, which would be the second time this season they will have a 1-2. Well, they could even get maximum points here if they get the fastest lap of the race. That hasn't happened yet this season. So let's wait and see what S25M have got. They've dominated most races this season, only really Kota, where they had a bit of a disaster. But other than that, they have been the superior side. So let's see what kind of records they can make. Anyway, further back, Loxian is falling even further back. He did 42.6 on that previous tour, so Very poor lap from him, and he's fallen into the clutches of Lozzie. So Lozzie's having a good race. Obviously, he was one of the drivers who made that early stop for the wet tyres. He's managed to make the move. He's now into P9. So we go towards the front. We see Peradrive has managed to make the move on Zed Green. He's up into P1. However, his soft tyres might start to die out soon as he makes a bit of a mistake. Zed Green is back through for the lead. Oscar Fan, P3, Strudel and Ludwig have closed up a little bit. Maybe their tyres are starting to become a bit better. Strudel was certainly closed up. Ludwig not as much. And then Phoenix has a nice gap to Blazerals now. So looking alright, and Tyne is looking really good in this race at the moment. Currently P8. And he certainly has got a lot of pace to him. You've got Lozzie 9th, Veloxia 10th, Pigeon 11th. He's got Sabercat behind him in V12. And it's Kozil, Dog Gamer, Albono and Fast Pace, who is not far from getting lapped in this race. Oscar Fan looks like he's managed to close up to the front two slightly. He's going to need a little bit more though if he's going to want to try and finish in the top two. However, still plenty of time to go. We're not even, well, at the end of this lap we'll be 2/3 race distance. So still quite a long race left. Quite a long time to go. About 7 minutes or so of racing. We see Phoenix. I thought he was maybe closing up to Ludwig a bit then, but I think his tyres aren't the best at the moment. As we have some rain coming, however, could be fake rain. I expect these both will stay out. Fast Pace is in, and Oscar Fan is going for it. This could be interesting. This could either make his win or destroy his podium, depending on how long the rain is going to stay for. As we see, Phoenix goes past his teammate. And that is Blazerals also into the pit lane, as well as Lozzie going for it again. Aloxian and Pigeon also going for the wets. Is it going to stay out a bit longer? Looks like it is. So this is good for Oscar Fan. This could hopefully bring him a bit closer to the top two. Top four are all struggling. Let's see the gap after these two pit. As we see, they do pit. Obviously, I suspect everyone will pit as the rain looks like it's here to stay for a little while. So where's Oscar Fan going to come out? You can see him there. And very lovely stuff. He has 1 lap older tyres, but he has gained a significant amount and is putting some pressure on the S25M. So it looks like it's going to be these three for the podium unless we see some huge mistakes. But in what order? We have 8 laps to figure that one out. Then we have Strudel. Has lost a bit of time to Ludwig as well. Ludwig going for a move up the inside of Puon, and he hasn't managed to make that work onto the grass. But it hasn't lost too much time. Has managed to get a good exit. Isn't too far off the back. We've got Blazerals, who also pitted early, is now back with Phoenix. So we've had some lovely wet undercuts here. Also Lozzie obviously went in early, so he's made a good undercut. Up to P8. Pigeon has managed to gain a lot of time with his undercut too. Obviously Fast Pace did an undercut. Yeah, he's still last unfortunately in this race. However, Oscar Fan was praising his undercut. However, the pace doesn't seem to be there. He's fallen off the back of the top two a little bit. He's going to need to try and pull something out the bag to catch up. But it does look like it is going to dry up. So this could be interesting. Depending on how long it takes to dry, will anyone pit? There's only 7 laps to go at the moment. How many laps will there be by the time it dries out? And could we see some drivers going inters to the end of the race rather than pitting and wasting time in the pit lane? However, they will lose time because they are on inters, which will not be the optimal tyre on a dry track. I'll have to wait and see. Depends how many laps there are left in this race. So we've got top two very close together. However, they are teammates, so I don't think they'll be battling too aggressively until the last few laps. I think they'll be wanting to try and pull away from Oscar Fan as much as possible, so that when they do start battling, there is no threat from behind. Phoenix has managed to pull away from Blazerals again though, so it's unfortunate for Blazerals. Might have to be a P7 for him today. Should still be a fairly good result for him. I'm sure he'll be happy with that relatively. Obviously has highest finish of P5 this season, Blazeros, so yeah, maybe a P7, not a terrible result still. Like Kozil and Dog Gamer, pretty close to each other. Top two still very close for Strudel and Ludwig. And these are definitely the two battles to keep an eye on, the battle for the win and the battle for P4. As you can see, the track is dry. And look at that, Paradrive stays out, Zed Green is in though. Here we go, Oscar Fan also in. This could be Oscar Fan's second chance to try and get back within at least a top two finish. Maybe not a P1, because it looks like Zed Green might be able to make that undercut. Will any of these top three stay out until the end though? There'll only be 4 laps to the end of this one. Ludwig gets passed by Zed Green there, and Strudel also gets kind of pushed out the way there. As you can see, pretty much everyone has a pit. Just we got Paradrive, Strudel, Ludwig, and then Sabercat and Albono yet to pit off of these wet tyres, and Paradrive stays out. So here we go. This is exactly what I was talking about. He is going to stay out until the end on these inters. He'll be hoping for some more rain, but this is going to be a very good fight as we see Strudel and Ludwig into the pit lane. So Paradrive, the only one left. Oh, that's a bit of a mistake. That is not going to help him. We see Zed Green ever so briefly in the background there, but the gap is closing. What can Oscar Fan maybe even catch up? Maybe even Ludwig, depending on the pace of Paradrive. We've only got 3 laps to go, but as I mentioned earlier on, it's one of the longest tracks on the calendar, so it is 3 long laps. The gap is 2.7. To be honest, judging by the lap time of a 41.98, I think this could be Zed Green's win if we can keep it clean, and maybe even Oscar Fan can try and challenge for that top 2. To wait and see. Obviously, you've got Sabercat and Albono also on the wets. However, the wets will not be as good as the inters, as they are made for wetter conditions, I guess. I don't know what the science is behind it. Anyway, Ludwig has managed to get in front and pull away from Strudel, so that's good for him. However, good lap from Paradrive here, much better. He has a 41 exactly, and Zed Green has a 40.1. So 9/10 gain from Zed Green, and the gap is 1.5. Could be close. I don't think Oscar Fan is going to quite have enough, so it looks like it's going to be at least a top 2 for Paradrive's efforts anyway. But I've got to say, I think it's going to be a P2. I think it might be Zed Green to take his second win of the season at this rate. We see Zed Green right on the back of his teammate now, and Paradrive doesn't fight it, doesn't really have anything to fight with. And now he's going to try and hold on for the P2. He has a 3.3 second gap to Oscar Fan though, so I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be pretty easily able to hold that P2. Go a bit further down before we see the final laps. We have Ludwig looks like he's going to hold the P4. Other than that, pretty big gaps all round. We've got Dog Gamer and Kozil battling. However, this will not be any points for P13, sadly for them. Anyway, let's go on board with Zed Green. Has had a very good race. Started on pole position and has had some very good pace. And he's going to come through the final few corners to take his second win of the season. Zed Green wins in Belgium, and Paradrive P2. Paradrive takes the Drivers' Championship, and S25M will take the Constructors' Championship with a lovely 1-2 to seal off a wonderful season for them. We have Oscar Fan on the final step of the podium. Ludwig takes P4. It's going to be Strudel 5th, Phoenix P6, Blazeros 7th, Lozzie 8th, Pigeon P9. Tyne will take P10. It's going to be Luxian P11 and Sabercat. So actually this is now a battle for the points after Sabercat has kind of been yeeted off there. Can Dog Gamer hold on? It's going to be a battle to the line. Kozil just about gets the final point of the race, and Dog Gamer will have to settle for P13. Sabercat takes 14th, Fast Pace 15th, and Albono P16. And as you may have seen there from Paradrive, he is the champion of AMRL Season 6, and S25M are your very well deserved Season 6 AMRL Constructors Champions. So congratulations to both Paradrive and S25M for that achievement. Anyway, hope you enjoyed round 9. A very rain activity filled race, and we are back for the finale next week in Poland. Circuit. I don't even know how you say that. The Polish fictional circuit we're going to. So I hope to see you there for the final time in Season 6. So I hope you enjoyed this race and see you next week. Goodbye.